Have you ever come across Suriname? Today we'll explore this country, known for having one of the lowest population densities in the world, and reveal a reality that might be somewhat grim. Suriname is one of those hidden gems that not many are familiar with, yet it boasts a wealth of stunning landscapes. Nestled between Brazil, Guyana, and French Guiana, this small South American nation is a true haven for those in search of untouched nature and adventure. Approximately 90% of Suriname's land is blanketed by lush, vibrant rainforests, making it a green gem within the Amazon. But the surprises don't end there. In addition to its thriving forests, the country features wetlands, enigmatic savannas, and mountains that stretch toward the horizon. Every part of Suriname beckons exploration, with trails that lead to scenery that is as diverse as it is captivating. The country's biodiversity is remarkable, hosting thousands of rare plant and animal species, many of which can only be found here. Although it remains largely unnoticed by travelers, Suriname is a true rough diamond, where natural beauty and a rich cultural tapestry blend seamlessly. It's a destination that sparks curiosity and encourages you to uncover its many secrets. In addition to being heavily forested, one notable characteristic of Suriname is its status as one of the least populated nations on the planet. With only around 600,000 residents spread across approximately 163,000 square kilometers, the population density is strikingly low, fewer than 4 people per square kilometer. For comparison, London alone houses about 9 million people within an area that is 100 times smaller. This sparse population allows nature to thrive, with towns and villages dispersed over vast, largely untouched expanses of land. Having explored Suriname's geography, let's delve into its historical development over the centuries. Prior to European colonization, the land was inhabited by indigenous groups, such as the Arawak and the Carib, who coexisted harmoniously with the forest. This equilibrium shifted dramatically in the 17th century when the Dutch arrived, transforming the region into a significant agricultural hub that relied on the forced labor of thousands of African slaves to cultivate sugar and coffee plantations. Following the abolition of slavery, new waves of immigrants from India and Indonesia were brought in to replace the enslaved workforce. These immigrants not only contributed to the labor force on the plantations, but also played a crucial role in shaping the cultural landscape of Suriname. The resulting blend of cultures, religions, and traditions has forged a unique national identity, felt in every part of the country. Suriname achieved independence in 1975, but this did not lead to the anticipated peace. The nation experienced a series of coups and a prolonged military dictatorship, marked by oppression and violence, which left lasting scars on its population. However, Suriname emerged from these challenges, reinventing itself as a multicultural and resilient nation that celebrates diversity, which has become an integral part of the identity of the Surinamese people. When discussing Suriname, the term diversity takes on a profound significance. The nation's motto, "Several cultures, one country," encapsulates this rich tapestry of cultures. Suriname resembles a melting pot where various ethnicities and traditions coexist harmoniously. Among its inhabitants are Hindustani descendants of Indians brought to work on the plantations, Javanese immigrants from Indonesia, and Creoles, who are the offspring of enslaved Africans and Europeans. The cultural landscape is further enriched by the Chinese community, indigenous peoples, and Europeans, creating a vibrant cultural mosaic where influences from around the globe intersect. This diversity is evident in every facet of Suriname's life, from its lively music and cuisine bursting with exotic flavors to the myriad festivals that celebrate its eclectic traditions. Remarkably, each group maintains its cultural heritage, contributing to a unique and multifaceted identity that distinguishes Suriname from any other nation in South America. Naturally, this rich diversity is also reflected in the variety of languages spoken throughout the country. As previously mentioned, Suriname was a Dutch colony for many years, which is why Dutch is the official language of the country, spoken by about 60% of its inhabitants. However, the linguistic landscape is remarkable, reflecting the numerous nationalities and cultures that coexist within its borders. In addition to Dutch, which is used in educational settings and official documents, various other languages are commonly spoken in everyday interactions. The most prevalent language is Sran-Tongo, a Creole language that serves as a lingua franca, allowing people from diverse backgrounds to communicate effectively. But the linguistic richness doesn't end there. In Suriname, you will also encounter languages such as Javanese, Suriname Hindi, spoken by descendants of Indian immigrants, along with Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, and a variety of indigenous languages. This vibrant tapestry of languages includes influences from Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas, creating a breathtaking linguistic landscape within a single nation. Suriname's diversity extends well beyond cultural and ethnic boundaries. With nearly 90% of its land covered in tropical forests, the country is a true paradise for wildlife enthusiasts. Here, you can find a variety of animals, including parrots, monkeys, deer, tapirs, turtles, dolphins, and even cougars. Of particular interest are the rare species that can only be found in this region. In a 2006 expedition, the NGO Conservation International discovered 27 new species, including a fascinating fluorescent purple frog that appears to glow at night, as if illuminated from within. The country is also home to the harpy eagle, one of the largest birds of prey in the world, and the small nectar bat, which plays a crucial role in pollinating local flowers. Adding to the intrigue, there is the electric catfish, capable of generating electric discharges for self-defense, and the poison dart frog, known for its striking blue skin and potent toxins. Interestingly, in addition to the glowing purple frog, you can also find a blue variant. Its vivid blue hue acts as a warning signal to potential predators. The poison glands in its skin serve as a defense mechanism, delivering a paralysis-inducing toxin. What's fascinating is that this toxin isn't produced by the frog itself. Instead, it is derived from various species of ants that make up its diet. Continuing with our intriguing facts, here's a notable one. In Suriname, vehicles drive on the left side of the road. While most countries around the globe follow the universal convention of driving on the right, approximately 70 countries and regions, including Suriname, adhere to the left-hand driving system. So, what's the reason behind this? The answer traces back to the country's colonial history. Suriname was originally colonized by the British, who established the tradition of driving on the left. Even after it became a Dutch colony, this practice persisted. Another fascinating aspect of Suriname is its distinctive electoral system, which differs significantly from what many may be familiar with. According to the constitution enacted in 1987, the National Assembly consists of 51 members who are elected through popular vote. So far, so straightforward. However, here's where it gets interesting. These elected parliamentarians are responsible for selecting the country's president. To become president, a candidate must secure 2/3 of the votes from the assembly members. If no candidate achieves that majority, the decision shifts to the People's Assembly, which includes regional representatives. If the deadlock continues and no candidate meets the required majority, Suriname can be left temporarily without a head of state. This very scenario occurred in 1991 when a stalemate among representatives left the country without a president for a period of time. It's a rather unique system that can lead to some unexpected outcomes. If Suriname's electoral process seemed perplexing to you, brace yourself for this astonishing fact. The country once democratically elected a former dictator as its president. It may sound far-fetched, but Désir Bouterse served as the leader of Suriname from 2010 to 2020. Bouterse first rose to power in 1980 through a military coup known as the Sergeant's Coup. Along with 14 other sergeants, he overthrew the government led by Henk Aaron, establishing a military dictatorship that lasted for over a decade. The official justification for this coup was to tackle corruption and reduce the unemployment rate, which at the time affected 18% of the workforce. However, what followed were years, characterized by repression and authoritarian rule. One of the darkest events during this era occurred in December 1982. Referred to as the December Murders, this incident involved the execution and torture of 15 political opponents who were taken to Fort Zeeland. This tragic event left a lasting scar on Suriname's society. Facing international condemnation, Boudersay stepped down in 1987. Yet, his exile was brief. In 1990, he returned to power following another coup, this time without any violence. The most shocking twist came in 2010 when Désir Boudersay was elected president of Suriname, despite having an international arrest warrant for drug trafficking issued by the Netherlands. This remarkable political turn still perplexes many around the world. Shifting our focus away from politics, let's discuss an aspect of Suriname you might not be aware of. This small South American nation once served as a site for rocket launches. When we think of space exploration, we typically associate it with major powers like Russia, known for its iconic launch sites, or the United States with NASA and Elon Musk's SpaceX. However, in 1965, Suriname entered this exclusive arena. That year, the Dutch Space Organization, in collaboration with the Americans, launched 4 Nike Apache rockets from Suriname's soil. Why was Suriname chosen for these launches? Its strategic location near the equator makes it an ideal spot for rocket launches, facilitating satellite deployment into orbit. The makeshift launch site was located in the Koroni district, approximately 3 hours from the capital, Paramaribo. While the launch pad was quite basic, measuring only 20 by 20 meters, it was sufficient to establish Suriname's presence on the map of global rocket launch sites. Now that we've brought up the capital, let's delve deeper into Paramaribo, a city that serves as an open-air museum. Its architecture is a vibrant blend of Dutch and Caribbean colonial styles, with colorful buildings and historic mansions lining the streets, creating a distinctive and charming atmosphere. This rich cultural and historical heritage has garnered attention worldwide. UNESCO has designated Paramaribo's historic center as a World Heritage Site due to its well-preserved architecture and the blend of various cultures. What stands out most in Paramaribo is the remarkable symbol of peaceful coexistence found in the heart of the city. The main mosque is situated right next to the primary synagogue. Indeed, Jews and Muslims share this space side by side, showcasing a level of respect and harmony that is rare to find anywhere else globally. Continuing with the theme of tolerance, let's take a closer look at the religious landscape in Suriname. As mentioned earlier, the country's motto, "Several cultures, one country," perfectly encapsulates the harmonious coexistence of its diverse faiths. Suriname is home to Hindus, Catholic and Protestant Christians, Muslims, and Jews, all living together without significant conflict or religious discrimination. It's truly remarkable to see the abundance of churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues throughout the cities, all established by the communities that thrive in an environment of mutual respect. If you were to ask a Muslim about life in Suriname, they would likely express feelings of safety and respect, even in a nation where non-Muslims are the majority. There is no harassment from politicians, police, or prejudiced citizens, allowing everyone to practice their faith freely, an increasingly rare phenomenon in today's world. Suriname is among the few nations globally that operate without an army. In 1989, following a period marked by coups and military rule, the country made the decision to disband its armed forces. This action was intended to prevent military influence in politics and foster internal stability. Currently, the safety of Suriname is maintained through police forces and agreements with neighboring countries, particularly Brazil and Guyana, which have committed to assist in case of external threats. Additionally, Suriname is an active participant in regional organizations that focus on cooperation and security. One such organization is the Union of South American Nations, which promotes political, economic, and social integration among South American countries. Another significant group is CARICOM, consisting of Caribbean nations dedicated to advancing economic and social development in the region, while coordinating security and defense policies among member states to ensure mutual support in times of need. Suriname's lack of an army is not an isolated case. Several small nations, like Nauru, adopt similar strategies, depending on larger countries for their security. Speaking of Nauru, we have a video on our channel about this lesser-known island, which has turned into a concentration camp for refugees, funded by a major global power. It's definitely worth a watch. To wrap up our exploration of this little-known country, let's talk about cinema. Not in terms of film production, but rather the availability of movie theaters. In many parts of the world, we're accustomed to long lines and sold-out shows for highly anticipated films. However, that's not the case in Suriname, and the reason is quite unusual. Despite a population of over 500,000, Suriname has just one movie theater, located in the capital, Paramaribo. That's right, only one cinema for the entire country. This means the programming is quite limited, with only a handful of films screened each week. As a result, many residents prefer to watch movies at home or during community events, where the cinematic experience adapts to local culture in a way that differs significantly from what we are used to elsewhere.